The Emerald Bond. Deep in the heart of the Valorian forest, where the fiery hues of autumn painted the trees year-round, a legend stirred among the villagers. It spoke of Vuivre, the mythical fire serpent, its shimmering scales like molten gold, and its forehead crowned with an emerald of unparalleled brilliance. They said Vuivre guarded treasures long forgotten by man, relics of enchanted kingdoms lost to time. But what fascinated storytellers the most was Vuivre's peculiar habit. Despite its blazing nature, the serpent loved to bathe in the crystalline pools scattered through the forest. And in these moments of vulnerability, it would set its emerald aside. One fateful morning, a girl named Mile ventured into the forest. With fiery auburn hair and eyes that sparkled with curiosity, she was known for her insatiable hunger for stories and adventure. She had heard the tale of Vuivre since childhood, but unlike the villagers, she didn't fear the snake. She found the idea of such a creature captivating. As she wandered deeper into the forest, she stumbled upon a glade that seemed untouched by time. A gentle stream meandered through, pooling into a serene, sunlit basin. There, in the midst of the water, she saw it, the legendary Vuivre. Its golden scales shimmered in the dappled sunlight, and steam rose where its fiery body met the cool water. On the mossy bank nearby lay the emerald, pulsating with an inner light that seemed to hum with power. Mile's breath caught. The tales were true. Her gaze flicked between the serpent and the emerald. The villagers said the one who claimed the emerald would have unparalleled luck. But as she crept closer, it wasn't greed that guided her steps, it was the allure of the impossible, the pull of a story unfolding before her eyes. She reached out and, with trembling fingers, grasped the stone. As soon as she held it, the world seemed to shift. Colors grew brighter, the air more alive. But then a hiss pierced the tranquility, sharp and furious. Vuivre turned, its molten eyes locking onto Mile. It surged from the water, flames licking the edges of its mouth, its emerald missing. Terrified yet resolute, Mile didn't flee. "Wait," she cried, holding the emerald aloft. "I didn't mean to steal it. I had to see if it was real." The serpent paused, coiling its massive body, its gaze narrowing. It studied her, its anger simmering but not unleashed. "I'll give it back," Mile said, stepping forward cautiously. She placed the emerald on the ground and backed away. "Here. It's yours." Vuivre's fiery form hovered over the stone, its heat palpable even from a distance. It reclaimed the emerald, and for a moment, Mile thought the creature might strike. But instead, it tilted its head, its fierce gaze softening ever so slightly. "You are brave," a voice echoed, not aloud, but within Mile's mind. It was smooth and deep, carrying an ancient wisdom. Few would return what they sought to steal. Mile blinked. "You can speak. To those who dare listen," Vuivre replied, coiling gracefully. "Why did you approach me, human?" "Curiosity," Mile admitted. "And a little foolishness, perhaps." The serpent let out a low, rumbling sound that might have been laughter. "Honesty is rare among your kind. Perhaps I will spare you." Mile exhaled in relief. "Thank you. I will grant you something more," Vuivre continued. "Your courage intrigues me. I will accompany you, for now." And so began an unlikely companionship. Over time, Mile and Vuivre formed a bond, their shared curiosity and wanderlust leading them on countless adventures. Vuivre, with its fiery might and ancient knowledge, became Mile's protector and guide. Mile, with her resourcefulness and determination, proved an unexpected ally to the serpent. One of their most perilous journeys took them to the shimmering peaks, where a sorceress named Valin had imprisoned the winds themselves. The land lay stifled under an oppressive stillness, and its people, unable to call the rains, faced ruin. Mile, determined to help, convinced Vuivre to assist her in freeing the winds. The journey to Valin's tower was fraught with danger. They braved traps of magical fire, illusions designed to confuse even the keenest mind, and an army of shadowy constructs. Vuivre's fiery breath and Miles' quick thinking saw them through, but the final confrontation tested them both. Valin, cloaked in robes that shimmered like oil on water, laughed as Mile and Vuivre entered her chamber. "A girl and a snake," she sneered. "What hope do you have against me?" "I've faced legends," Mile retorted. "You're just a story waiting to be told." With a roar, Vuivre surged forward, its flames clashing with Valin's dark magic. The room became a battleground of fire and shadow, the air crackling with energy. Mile, armed with only her wits, spotted the enchanted crystal that anchored Valin's power. Dodging blasts of dark energy, she climbed the tower's crumbling walls and shattered the crystal with a single strike. The winds roared to life, breaking Valin's hold and scattering her magic. Defeated, the sorceress fled, leaving Mile and Vuivre victorious. As they stood atop the tower, the winds swirling around them, Vuivre turned to Mile. "You are more than brave," it said. "You are destined for greatness." "And you," Mile replied, smiling, "are more than a guardian. You're a friend." From that day on, their bond grew stronger. Together, they wandered far and wide, writing their story in the annals of legend, a girl and a fire serpent, united by courage, curiosity, and an emerald's glow. The descent into shadow. Mile and Vuivre stood at the mouth of the cavern, where the air felt thick with the weight of centuries. Legends spoke of this place as the gateway to the underworld, where the treasures of forgotten civilizations rested under the watchful eyes of spirits, magical guardians, and other Vuivres. Few had entered, and even fewer had returned. Yet the allure of adventure, and the promise of enchanted relics, drew them forward. The emerald on Vuivre's forehead glimmered faintly, casting a soft green light on the rough-hewn stone walls. The serpent coiled slightly behind Mile, its molten gaze scanning the darkness ahead. "Are you sure about this?" Vuivre's voice echoed in her mind, carrying a note of caution. Mile tightened her grip on her satchel, her courage bolstered by the emerald's presence. "We've come too far to turn back now." Together, they stepped into the unknown. The Guardians' trials. Their first challenge came in the form of the Sentinels of the Abyss, towering statues that sprang to life as they crossed a bridge over a chasm of molten rock. The stone giants spoke in unison, their voices booming, "Only those who possess wisdom beyond measure may pass." The trial required Mile and Vuivre to solve riddles, each more perplexing than the last. Despite Vuivre's ancient knowledge and Mile's quick wit, they faltered on the final riddle. The bridge began to crumble beneath them, forcing them to retreat to safety. "You're clever," Vuivre said, frustration rippling through its voice. "But wisdom alone won't see us through this." Further down, they encountered a lake of starlight, where an ethereal guardian appeared, cloaked in shimmering mist. "Prove your purity of heart," it intoned, "or face eternal entrapment in these waters." Mile stepped forward, recalling tales of heroes who succeeded through sincerity. She spoke of her dreams, her flaws, and her determination to help others. But the guardian remained unmoved. "Your companion's fire burns with doubt and pride," it declared, and they were cast out once more, forced to take another path. As they delved deeper, the air grew colder, and the walls seemed alive with whispers. They encountered phantoms of the fallen, the ghosts of treasure hunters who had perished in their quests. These spirits tried to lead them astray, offering false shortcuts and preying on Miles' fears. But Vuivre's fiery presence shielded her from their icy touch, and they pressed on. The other Vuivres. In a vast chamber of glowing crystal stalactites, they met other Vuivres, their scales radiant with fiery hues of red, blue, and silver. These serpents guarded hoards of gold, gems, and relics, their emeralds blazing with ancient power. The Vuivres hissed in unison, barring the way. "You are not welcome here," Sister One silver-scaled Vuivre said, addressing Miles' companion. "Why do you travel with a human?" "This one is different," Vuivre replied, coiling protectively around Mile. "She seeks not to steal, but to uncover the truth of our world." The other Vuivres demanded proof of their bond, presenting a challenge. Mile and her Vuivre had to navigate a maze of shifting illusions. Time and again, the pair were separated, their trust tested as they struggled to find one another. Finally, Mile called out with all her heart, and Vuivre's flames pierced through the illusions to guide her back. The other Vuivres, satisfied, allowed them to continue. The final trial. Hope waned as they reached the heart of the underworld. A massive iron door, adorned with runes of fire and shadow, stood before them. Beside it was a spectral figure, cloaked in shadows, its voice like the grinding of stone. "This is the end of your path," it said. "You have failed the trials, and the treasures beyond are not for you." Mile clenched her fists, the weight of failure pressing heavily on her shoulders. Vuivre coiled around her, its emerald dim. "We've come this far," Mile whispered. "We can't give up now." Vuivre's gaze met hers. "The emerald's luck may yet serve us," it said. "We must try one last time." Summoning all her courage, Mile stepped forward. "We will not turn back. Let the luck of the emerald guide us." The spectral figure paused, as if considering their resolve. Slowly, the iron door creaked open, revealing a small chamber filled with treasure chests that glowed with ethereal light. The treasures within. Miles' eyes widened as she took in the trove of ancient artifacts. Yet her focus was drawn to a single chest at the center, its lid inlaid with delicate runes. She opened it carefully, revealing treasures of unimaginable beauty, jeweled crowns, shimmering cloaks, and golden trinkets. Among them lay a magic wand, its wood smooth and warm to the touch, its tip crowned with a crystal that pulsed faintly. Mile picked it up, her heart racing. She could feel its power and knew it could grant 3 wishes. Beside her, Vuivre reached into the chest with its tail, retrieving a golden bracelet etched with serpentine designs. When Vuivre placed it around its fiery form, the bracelet gleamed and seemed to hum with a guiding presence. "It's magical," Vuivre said, its voice tinged with wonder. "It will always show us the right path." The journey back. The bracelet proved invaluable as they retraced their steps through the labyrinthine underworld. Whenever they faced a fork or a dead end, the bracelet glowed, leading them unerringly toward the surface. The trials they had struggled with seemed distant now, their burdens eased by their newfound treasures. As they emerged into the sunlight, Mile turned to Vuivre, her eyes shining. "We did it." Vuivre inclined its head, the emerald on its forehead glowing brightly once more. "Luck may have played a part," it said, "but it was your courage and determination that carried us through." "And your wisdom," Mile added with a smile. "We make a good team." The girl and the fire serpent stood together at the edge of the forest, their bond stronger than ever. With the wand and bracelet in their possession, the world lay before them, filled with possibilities and new adventures waiting to be written. The unwritten legends of Mile and Vuivre. The bond between Mile and Vuivre grew deeper with each shared adventure, their partnership as natural as fire and air. With the magic wand capable of granting 3 wishes and the golden bracelet that always found the right path, they were unstoppable. The tales of their exploits spread far and wide, whispered in taverns, sung in ballads, and recorded by scribes eager to immortalize their deeds. The treasures of the underworld had been a great triumph, but the world was vast, and Miles' insatiable curiosity demanded they explore its every corner. And so, the inseparable pair set off on a series of journeys that would test their courage, ingenuity, and the strength of their friendship. The Cursed Island of Aurelis. Their first great adventure after escaping the underworld took them to the Cursed Island of Aurelis, a place shrouded in perpetual twilight. Legends spoke of a golden tree that bore fruits capable of curing any ailment, but the island was also said to be the home of the wailing sirens, creatures that lured sailors to their doom. Guided by the golden bracelet, Mile and Vuivre arrived at the island under the cover of mist. The air was thick with an eerie melody, the siren's song weaving doubt and fear into Miles' heart. Vuivre, sensing her faltering resolve, coiled protectively around her and unleashed a fiery roar that echoed across the shore, momentarily silencing the haunting melody. "Stay close to me," Vuivre said. "Their song cannot harm you if you trust in our bond." Together, they ventured inland, navigating through dense, thorny forests that seemed alive with malice. The bracelet's glow led them to the golden tree, its luminous fruits shining like small suns. But as Mile reached for one, the sirens emerged from the shadows, their forms ethereal and terrible. They encircled the pair, their song growing louder, threatening to overwhelm them. Mile, clutching the wand, made her first wish: silence the sirens' song. The wand pulsed with power, and the sirens' voices were stripped away, leaving only the whisper of the wind through the trees. Though furious, the sirens were powerless without their song and retreated into the shadows. Mile and Vuivre harvested the golden fruit and left the island victorious, the cure saving a small village from a mysterious plague upon their return. The Skybound Citadel. Their next adventure took them to the Skybound Citadel, a floating fortress high above the mountains, said to be home to an ancient order of storm mags. The mags had grown reclusive over the centuries, refusing to share their knowledge and hoarding weather-controlling artifacts that could have alleviated droughts and storms ravaging the lands below. Determined to help the suffering farmers in the lowlands, Mile and Vuivre set out to reach the citadel. Vuivre's fiery body allowed Mile to ride on its back as it soared into the skies, navigating treacherous winds and lightning storms that protected the fortress. When they reached the citadel, they found it guarded by enchanted constructs made of storm clouds and thunder. Miles' quick thinking allowed them to bypass many traps, while Vuivre's flames dispersed the constructs. But their greatest challenge lay in convincing the storm mags to share their knowledge. The mags, led by a stern elder named Arcanthus, were wary of outsiders. Arcanthus challenged Mile to prove her worth by enduring a trial of storms, a magical tempest designed to test her willpower and resolve. Mile stepped into the storm, relying on Vuivre's encouragement and the bracelet's guidance to navigate the relentless wind and rain. When the storm subsided, Arcanthus was impressed by her bravery and agreed to share their secrets. The storm mags provided a rainstone, a relic capable of summoning rainfall, which Mile delivered to the drought-stricken farmers, earning their eternal gratitude. The Labyrinth of Lost Dreams. Their most perilous journey began when they encountered a wandering bard who spoke of the Labyrinth of Lost Dreams, a place where adventurers sought answers to their deepest questions but often lost themselves to despair. Mile, ever the seeker of knowledge, felt drawn to the labyrinth, hoping it might reveal her true purpose. Vuivre warned her of the dangers, but Mile's determination won out. If we face it together, she said, we can overcome anything. The labyrinth was a twisting maze of illusions, each corridor tailored to test their deepest fears and desires. Mile faced visions of a peaceful life she could have led had she never left her village, while Vuivre was confronted by memories of its ancient kin, blaming it for abandoning its duties. The golden bracelet provided no guidance in the labyrinth, its light dimmed by the labyrinth's magic. When all seemed lost, Mile used her second wish, guide us to the heart of the labyrinth. The wand's power cut through the illusions, revealing the labyrinth's core, a shimmering pool that reflected not the physical world, but the soul. Mile saw herself as she truly was, brave yet flawed, curious yet vulnerable. Vuivre's reflection revealed a being not just of fire and power, but of loyalty and compassion. Emerging from the labyrinth, Mile and Vuivre were not only triumphant but transformed, their bond stronger than ever. The golden age of Mile and Vuivre. As their legend grew, Mile and Vuivre's adventures spanned the breadth of the world. They explored the crystal caves of Ethron, where they discovered a shard of starlight capable of illuminating the darkest night. They journeyed to the frostbound wastes, where they freed an ancient frost dragon from its icy prison, earning its gratitude and the promise of aid in times of need. But perhaps their greatest feat was uncovering the hidden library of Phylloria, a sanctuary of lost knowledge guarded by a sentient tree named Eldorath. In exchange for Vuivre's golden bracelet, which the tree coveted for its magical properties, Eldorath allowed Mile to take a single tome. She chose a book containing the true names of the stars, a treasure she hoped would one day lead to even greater discoveries. The final wish. As time passed, Mile used her third and final wish to ensure their legacy would endure. She wished for the world to remember the partnership of a curious girl and a fiery serpent, not as conquerors, but as explorers who sought to bring light and hope wherever they ventured. The wand vanished in a burst of golden light, its purpose fulfilled. Mile and Vuivre, undeterred by the loss of its power, continued their adventures, knowing their greatest treasures were the bonds they had forged and the stories they would share. Their legend grew with each passing year, until Mile and Vuivre's names were spoken with reverence in every corner of the world. They were a testament to courage, friendship, and the unquenchable thirst for discovery, a partnership that burned as brightly as the emerald on Vuivre's brow.